Good morning, Cowboy Fam. I've got a banger video today. Today, we're gonna be installing drip irrigation in my dragon fruit garden. If you wanna see how I do it, stay tuned to find out. Alrighty, let's get started. Coffee break first. It is the morning, so I just woke up. Decided I was gonna record a video before class today, but have my coffee here. Some good stuff. But yeah, before we get started, I am going to show you the components I will be using, and then after that I'm going to basically show you my setup for drip irrigation already, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to tap into that. All right, so let's get started. Alrighty friends, so as you can see, these are basically my main components. These are end caps, so we can kind of cap off the end of the line whenever necessary. These right here are kind of where you split the line, so you can run the line. It'll come in from here and then it'll split off in two directions. This right here is a gallon per hour controller. So since my dragon fruit don't require as much water as my plants in this garden, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add one of these so that this will control the gallon per hour flow rate, and the dragon fruit will ideally, in a perfect situation, they will be receiving less water than the rest of my garden. And then right here we have kind of our hole puncher, so this will punch our hole in our main line so that we can go ahead and make a connection from there. Right here we have this black cable, and well, I wouldn't say cable, it's more of a tube, and this tube is, its job is to kind of hook it up to the main line, and then from that main line we'll hook it up to our drip emitter line, which, as you can see, about every 12 inches it does have a drip emitter, so on both sides it'll come out and it'll drip through there. And you can see this is just kind of these are cut pieces, so I didn't want to like kind of clutter the desk, so I just cut these pieces for show, so you can go ahead and see kind of what I'm working with. And yeah, so we'll branch out from our main line with these, and then from there we'll connect to these. Then you're gonna need some scissors because we're gonna be snipping it. And then I do have this this kind of what's called wire, yeah, anyways, this stuff. Yeah. And then so basically what I'm gonna use this as is kind of stakes to hold this in place. So I'm gonna basically just cut off a piece, make a U, and then put that U in the ground like this so that it'll hold it in place. I don't know if that'll be 100% necessary. We might just have to wait around and find out. But yeah, other than that, tomatoes. Oh my god, look at my tomato. I'm sorry, I got distracted. They're so beautiful. But yeah, and then you can see basil, chives, cilantro. Okay, sorry, enough distractions, right? But yeah, back to what we're gonna do. And then basically, let me go ahead and walk over here so I can show you kind of how my system is already set up. So as you can see, my system is already right here. So this is basically what controls the pressure. So this makes sure that pressure won't be too much so that these lines won't rupture. And then from there you have this, which is basically a filter. And this pressure regulator also prevents backflow, so it prevents water coming back up through here and back into here, which will create back pressure. You don't want it, so very necessary. Then you got your filter. Then I have my cheapo Walmart timer. Pro tip on your timer, do not get an expensive one. In most cases, less is more. This is just a battery operated one. It's done me justice, so just, you know, cheapo from Walmart. It is like the Orbit commercial grade, but I mean, it was like 30 bucks in comparison to some other ones that, you know, hook up to your smartphone and stuff. Nah, don't get those. They're really expensive for no reason. I mean, you don't need to have that control unless you do need to have that control. But me personally, I just set it right here, and it is on a rain delay right now, but I just set it right here, and then you can control everything. So you can see my next start time will be in 4 hours. This is the current time. I can set the duration, how often. So yeah, thing is awesome, and basically waters my garden for me. Then right here you just have this is kind of, I guess you could say, a particulate collector. So any particles that kind of would have otherwise gone through here, they just sit here at the bottom, which is awesome because you don't want those going through your lines. And then from here it just kind of goes over there. I'll do more in depth because it goes into my garden, but for now we're gonna be focusing on the dragon fruit. So you can kind of already see what I've got going on set up here. And I'm sorry, this was over like this, kind of like as a little techito, like a roof to cover it from the sun, but yeah, that failed. Don't worry, don't look at that. Anyways, and then so yeah, we're gonna be tapping in right here with a connector, and like I said, it's gonna be going that way, and then once it goes that way, we'll split it off, and then it'll run one line here and then one line to the other one. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that, and then I'll show you the progress. Okay, well, I apologize for the awkward angles in advance. I don't have a tripod. I've been told I should grab one, so probably be picking one up pretty soon. But you can kind of start to see the vision. So this is our main line. We're going to go in with this one this way, and then once we get over there, we'll branch out. All right? Alrighty, Cowboy Fam. So this is the update so far. Basically, I had to take that gallon per hour controller off, and I actually ended up installing this this shut-off valve. So now we have the ability to shut the water on and off even better. Unfortunately, I did realize that I had to do that out of necessity because I only had, as you can see, 2 pieces that are going to be linking that to this kind of irrigation line. And the problem was that I needed 2 linkages, one on this side and then another one on this side. So basically I got those 2. I'm gonna get that one, and then I will be using a gallon per hour controller for the moment because that is all I have. But once I run to Walmart, I'll end up picking up kind of a baggie of assorted ones of these, and then I'll be just replacing this gallon per hour controller, and then eventually I can just install it, you know, somewhere here down the line. But the good thing is we do have the shut off valve, so we're not going to be needing that. And basically, to puncture this main line, all I had to do was use this, and then as you could see in the timeline, hopefully, and time lapse I mean, and yeah, so we already ran that T, and then as you can see, the vision is starting to begin. This one's gonna go over here, and then that one will go up there. So yeah, that's pretty much the update, and I'm gonna keep on going, and then I'll keep you updated. Alrighty, I apologize if this video is getting too long, but I think it's better that I go in depth for those of you who are really interested. So as you can see, I did end up getting 2 more pieces that I had already. They're kind of these 2, so I have this one, and the job is basically to you run this line through here, and then you go ahead and sink it in your soil, So that's just basically gonna ensure that this won't fall out, or it's not gonna put too much pressure on here. And then over here I ended up doing 3 wraparounds, and then it feeds back into itself. And then from there I ended up doing kind of a Venn diagram pattern, I guess you could say. So then, because they were all overlapped, but then I ended up pulling these out, and then I pulled these out, and I did that simply using this wire. Now what I don't like about this wire is that it doesn't have much strength, like in terms of holding it down. But what I do like about the wire is that I already had it laying around, and a reoccurring theme on this channel is that I am in college and we're broke. So I'm using what I have available. So yeah, like we said, you know, sometimes in the garden it's not about having the fanciest tools or having the right tool for the job even. You kind of just have to work with what you got. And that's what I did today. So this is the first one. As you can see, it's already hunkered down over there too, and I think it turned out pretty good. So one thing to note, this irrigation line that I am using, it's recycled. So basically that was the old irrigation line that I did have in my garden last year, but this year I kind of went in and replaced all my lines, but I didn't get rid of it because it wasn't 100% wasted, but it just wasn't 100% functional either. So I'd say we've got about 55 to 75% function on here. So not every emitter actually emits, hence why it's so overlapped. So if one of them kind of fails, like if one of these fails, at least I have 2 other that are in the same location, you know, that are gonna kind of make up for that. So that was my kind of thought process behind it. Like we said, we're in college. You don't need the fanciest tools. So I'm recycling my lines, and we're gonna be totally fine. So I'm gonna be doing this one now, and then I'll keep you updated on the progress. Alrighty, there it is. There it is, there it is. And then, so as you can see, very similar setup. Wire holding it down. Again, not my favorite, not ideal. I'd like to say it's temporary, but as much as I say a lot of things are temporary in this garden like this, I guess they're not so temporary, so we'll just see. Time will tell. But yeah, again, same setup. I have one of those to make sure that there's no force pulling the line this way, you know, since gravity. And yeah, all that's pretty much left to do is give it a nice little test run. So I am going to set it manually for 2 minutes so we can go ahead and give it a test. Make sure I open my water. Alright, we do have water pressure. I can hear it coming out of my garden now. And now what we're gonna do is open our lines. And again, these lines have not seen water in quite a long time. But you can hear them starting to work. And like I said, look, this one, it's really bad, you know? Too much water coming out of there. But if it gets too bad, eventually I will replace it. But yeah, like I said, I'm reusing these lines. Starting to realize that the water distribution is not as equal as I thought. There should be at least some kind of line emitting water. If anything, maybe I might just poke a hole there. A little ghetto, I know, but yeah, I mean, water's coming out, so that's what's important. And yeah, I'll probably reshuffle these around to make this closer over here to make sure that they're all receiving water. Let's go ahead and see the other one. Oh yeah, look at that. You can see we already got a little puddle. We do have the water emitting out of there, and again, not so even water distribution, so I might have to reshuffle those lines a little bit to make sure that they all get adequate water. But that's pretty much it, my friends. Also, let me show you the ugly, the good, the bad, the ugly. So this is it's kind of leaking a little bit, to be expected, because this shouldn't really be directly making contact. Ideally there would be another piece of this line from here to here, but again, I don't have the junction piece. I don't have that connection, so for now this will do, until we can find a better solution, or until I can go ahead and buy some more. But my friends, I want to thank you for joining me. This was a pretty simple process, all in all. And before you go, I did want to say that I will be doing a in-depth explanation of where did I purchase my drip irrigation system, how did I set it up. You know, right now it kind of disappeared, but I promise you it exists. Kind of just pops up through there. And then as you can see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines that run all through my bed, and then so it's automatically watered. And yeah, so if y'all want to see a more in-depth video on that, I'm going to be doing one pretty soon. And yeah, so that's pretty much it, Cowboy Fam. I want to thank you for hanging out in the garden with me one more time. And I want to kind of remind you why it is that I do these videos in the first place. As you can see, I just set up the drip irrigation system on my own. No one helped me. I would consider myself pretty young. I'm 19 years old. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of people get scared when it comes to gardening, or a lot of people are very hesitant because they might not know what to do, or they're afraid to fail and kill a plant. Spoiler alert, dead plant. I mean, I've probably killed more plants than I've kept alive. So my message to you, if you want to start gardening but you're a little hesitant, just get your foot on the ground. I don't care if you buy a pot, I don't care if you buy a little bit of soil, you want to plant sunflower, whatever you want to do, just do it, all right? Because the time is now, and you can't keep putting off excuses. Another thing is that I also want to encourage people to just get outside more, you know, start living a little healthier, get the sun on their skin. Speaking of being outside, yesterday was April 22nd, so it was Earth Day. So I do want to wish y'all a happy Earth Day before I go. But other than that, like I said, I want to thank you for hanging out in the garden with me. And yeah, until next time, Cowboy Fam.